Hey guys, we're here today with Maggie Rockett. She's with Iberia Bank.
Yes.
Maggie and I do some business together, so I thought she'd be a great resource to bring to you guys to talk about mortgage and home loans.
I'm excited.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
As a lifelong resident of Monroe and West Monroe and a full-time real estate agent, join me on this journey as we discuss real-world topics in real estate and take a deeper dive into what our community has to offer. I'm Brian Bendily, and this is why I love what I do. So Maggie, first topic I'd like to talk about is going to be, why should someone start early in the mortgage process, even when they're just thinking about trying to buy a home?
That is fantastic right there. If you're even considering buying a home in 2 to 5 years, if it's an idea, if it's a goal, going ahead and chatting with a lender about those real steps. How does the process work? What kind of income do you have? And what are you going to need from me when I'm ready to do this? You can talk in generalities and get a really good idea. What are some things I can work on to build or protect my credit? We could do all of that even before doing a true pre-qualification. But if you are not sure where your credit score is, or you're depending mainly on the free credit reporting entities out there, the value in doing a true pre-qualification, having your credit pulled, and having a lender who can look over this, and if there's anything that could be fixed or made better, you've got time to do that. And you even have time to say, okay, well, this is the product that really stands out to me. This is what I'd like to do. And the lender can help you plan for that. So when the time comes, you're ready to jump.
During your first meeting with someone, how many of those people know exactly what they want? How well educated are they on the different programs that you guys have available?
I would say they don't know a lot. It's a fact-finding mission most of the time. But it's great because we get to talk about the difference of the products. We get to talk about the terms that they're going to hear during the process, what this means, how this works, and don't feel nervous.
Sure. So can we, by backing into this, say the first meeting they have with you, they really need to be open with if they truly want a home and realize home ownership, they need to be open and honest with where they're at and what they have to work with. That gives you the tools you need to be able to present them with good information.
Absolutely. So if we know the type of income you make, and we know, and that's how you're paid and how long you've been with that employer, we know that true history. We know the assets that you have, what's reasonable for you to save up. If you say, I want to buy a house in 6 months, and we say, okay, you need to save up $5,000 a month, that may not be reasonable for most people. So honesty is the best policy because we can tailor a plan and steps that fit into your lifestyle. And it's not stressful at that point.
Right. So does every mortgage require a down payment?
No, there are multiple programs out there that don't. But those programs may have different requirements. They may have a higher credit score requirement. They may have a different credit history requirement. They may require that your income fit in a certain bracket or that the home is in a certain area.
Okay. What about starting, from a real estate agent standpoint, they tell us the statistics say people start looking online 18 and now in some cases 24 months before they actually are ready to purchase. Is it too early for someone to come into you 24 months before they're ready to purchase and just sit down and have that financial talk with you?
Not at all. When you start looking online, that's a good sign that you're interested. That, if you're looking at houses online, that's a perfect time to say, well, if I want this to happen, let's talk to somebody who can tell me.
Right. So I would say that would give them buying power, just knowing how solid they are. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. When that perfect house jumps up, and they've already been pre-qualified, they can jump on it.
Right. What about their credit? Is it going, if you pull their credit, say they're working with you, and maybe they have a few things they need to take care of. They come and pull your credit, is that going to hurt them?
No, not in the long run. If we were to pull your credit multiple times in a very short window, that can have an impact. But if we were to pull credit and there were some things we could work on, maybe you qualify, but there are some things you could work on to get a better rate for the product you want. You have the time to do that, and credit reports are good for, depending on the lender, they're good for a few months typically. So
if we have a proactive buyer that really wants to take care of their financial situation, how hard is it to get some dings that are on a credit to get them off or to work through those things? Is it a hill that's just too hard to climb, or is there a path for success?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's I would say the level at which certain things hit your credit depends a great deal on your mix of credit and your history with credit. So, that's something we look at. But when we pull a credit report, that's the great thing about pre-qualification. We have the report in front of us, and although we're not credit correction companies, we can see those trends, and we can even run certain simulators to say, well, it's estimated if you do this, that this would help. And
so therefore you could give them a path, give them a plan of getting things taken care of.
Measurable steps that they can take. Awesome. And sometimes it's immediate, and sometimes, in 3 months. That's huge.
So if someone needed some coaching along the way and it was not an easy fix, a 3-month fix, are you willing to work with someone over a period of time to get themselves ready? Yes,
that's actually my favorite borrower is one that we've been working together. We've been talking. They're finally there and they get their dream house. That is why I do my job. I love it.
Awesome. A couple other things. What if someone has a foreclosure? I know that moving into the pandemic, there was a lot of forbearance that was out there, and studies are saying that we may end up having some foreclosures that are going to hit. If someone has a past foreclosure through whatever reason it's had, is that going to prevent them from ever buying a home again?
Not ever, but there will be a waiting period, and there's, depending on the product too, would affect how long do we need to wait and what do we need to prove to show we've got a good use of credit now.
Okay. What about a bankruptcy?
It's the same thing. So the periods for bankruptcy and foreclosure are a little different, and the type of bankruptcy matters in the time period.
Okay.
So there are waiting periods, and you would want to go ahead and start reestablishing good credit patterns to prove to an underwriter, I know how to use my credit. And it was, everybody has a reason for those, bankruptcies.
Okay. Another question I get often from people, I'm a Dave Ramsey ELP for Northeast Louisiana. And the Dave Ramsey plan says we don't need to get credit cards or those types of things to establish credit. Are there other alternative ways people can actually get a credit score other than going out and opening up trade lines of credit?
There are certain products that would allow for underwriting without a credit score, where we take other accounts that you have and prove a credit history over a period of time and payment history. Those are, to be honest, there are more hoops to jump through with that option to prove that you are credit worthy because they don't have the typical score.
Right.
But for those people who don't want to open up a lot of credit, a lot of trade lines isn't necessary if you're looking to build a score. And a lot of time typically is not necessary, but using your credit wisely.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
Thank you.